Welcome to this online class on learning guitar. Music is a field which brings so much joy to the whole world, to all of us human beings. But many times, many people feel that this is something meant only for certain people, for those who are musically gifted or inclined to music. But in my case, I found that this is not so. I believe that music is a gift given by God to everybody, and anybody can learn music, anybody can sing, and anybody can play any musical instrument. Of course, there are people who are gifted. For example, voice. Some people have beautiful voices. Not all people have beautiful voices, but everyone can definitely sing. And so it is with instruments. Some people are really musically gifted, but music is also a science. So with the right, let's say right music, sheet music and instructions, anybody can learn the basics of any musical instrument. And for me, I was blessed to learn the guitar without much formal education. And I remember when I was around 18 years old, that is the first time when I went to seminary, that is the first time actually I saw a lot of guitars. And I had this desire to learn, and I did not know how to learn. But there were a lot of people who knew guitar. I watched them, I learned from them, and within a course of time, just 1 or 2 years, I found I could easily pick up this instrument. And so I thought, the lessons that I learned over these years, I thought it would be good if I could also impart these to many youngsters who also desire to learn these instruments, but sometimes feel that they cannot. Let us begin with the basics of the guitar. When we start to learn a guitar, it's very important to know the different parts of a guitar. Now, why do I say this? When you have a guitar, sometimes you might need to replace some strings, sometimes you may need to replace some parts of the guitar, but many people don't know what are the names of these parts. And you may think it's not very important, but I have seen people going to music shops, and then asking the shopkeeper, "Hey mister, can I have that part?" And the shopkeeper asks, "Which part?" That part, that kind of nut or pin at the bottom of the guitar. And the shopkeeper will still say, "Is it a peg? Is it a bridge pin?" Then the person is like, "Oh, I don't know. Can you show me the guitar?" And then he'll try to show the part of the guitar. So that's why it's very important for us, if we know the different parts of the guitar, what are the names for the parts, it's actually good to, it is the first step to master this instrument. So here we have a very good guitar. This is an acoustic guitar. It's an acoustic guitar because the sound is mainly amplified acoustically through this sound hole. Okay? And of course there is a pickup here. And basically, how does music come from a guitar? Music is produced by vibrations of these strings. And these vibrations get amplified through the sound hole inside. There's a lot of air, and this air vibrates and produces a lot of sound. And because this is amplified acoustically, it's known as an acoustic guitar. We do have electric guitars where the sound is amplified through electronics. So basically there's no actually big sound hole. There will be magnetic pickups, and the vibrations are picked up by these magnetic pickups and converted into electrical energy. And this electrical energy then goes to an amplifier, or where it can be to an amplifier where it can be amplified through a speaker or a monitor. So whether it is an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar, the basic guitar has 3 parts. You have the head, you have the neck part, and you have the body part. And on the head, if you notice, every guitar usually has 6 strings, and of course there are 12 string guitars. Basically they are the same. Each of the 6 strings will have 2 strings each, so it's a 12 string guitar. The guitar has basically 3 parts. We have the head, we have the neck, and we have the body. And on the head of the guitar we have these 6 kind of pins. These are known as the tuning pegs. Okay, tuning pegs or tuning pigs, pins. It is mainly used to tune the guitar, and when you turn these pegs, the tune of the strings change accordingly. You can tighten them or you can loosen them. All right, and then you have the strings, of course, on the neck, and on the neck you can see this part. The top part of this is known as the fretboard or the fingerboard. Okay, because this is where you run your fingers around to play notes. And these divisions, you can see, these are known as the frets. Okay, these divisions, they are known as the frets, and then in between you have the places where you play the notes. And here you have what is known as the sound hole, and like I mentioned earlier, this is where the sound gets amplified. And then you have the pick guard, because when you use a pick or a striker, and when we play like this, many times the pick hits here. So to avoid scratches, usually guitars have this black kind of plastic protector which protects the guitar from scratches. And at the end of the, let's say, body, we have the bridge, and here you have what is known as the bridge pins. Okay, you have the bridge pins, and these are actually used to lock the strings in place. All right, so these are the basic parts of a guitar. Okay, and of course there are extra places. Here you have hooks where you can actually put a belt, and then you have your pickup controls if you had a pickup to amplify your sound. So these are the parts of a guitar.